of ITRAD Fantasy Football League. We are here going into week 7. We got a lot to talk about this week. Pretty, I guess it was a good week. Some of the games are kind of not really that interesting in my opinion. Not the fantasy games, but the actual football games. It was a blowout on Monday night. Sunday night's game wasn't bad. Couple blowouts though in the regular not prime time, 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock. There's only 2 4 o'clock games. One of them was a blowout. Actually, both of them were blowouts. Dolphins, Jets, and Bucks, Packers. And I didn't think the 1 o'clock games were that good either. But let's get right into it. We always start with our power rankings, so let's start with that. Oh wait, no, we forgot to do the recap from last week. Looking at last week's games, we had. Let me go to the scoreboard here. Week 6. We had Shot Out versus Homosexuals. 148.2 to 5 win for Simon. Pretty victory for Simon. Nick's team looked really good coming out the gate. He put up 180 in back-to-back weeks and kind of had a little bit of a fall off. But
yeah, I don't know. For some reason, he did not start Matt Ryan against Minnesota or Ryan Tannehill with a point. I really thought I don't really like his team, but I really like his team a lot. But this just is a full healthy Nick team that just underperformed.
yeah,
And now he only had 110 to
Carson was
150.
on the bye, but his running backs didn't do that bad.
Jonathan Taylor got 15 points. So, I mean, I don't know how much more Chris Carson would have got that really would have helped him out. It's not like he would have got 30 more points to win. So,
I think Jonnu Smith got hurt early.
yeah, and he has T.J. Hawkinson, which I think is traded away now, right? But
Yeah.
anyway, we'll talk about that later.
We'll talk about that. But yeah, Julio's comeback game, 35 points. That was big for Simon. Another game, we had Cardiac Kids versus Yerba Mate, 142-103 victory for Julian. Drake and Murray combining for 59.2 points. AJ Brown had a nice week. Claypool off the waivers, 18 points. McLaurin had a nice 14. Kenny's team, just besides Watson, Mixon had 15. Mostert, 9.6.
He's also hurt now.
2.6. Ebron, 2.9. Devonta Freeman, 6.7. That's just what you see when there's just a lack of attention to your fantasy roster. I mean, I don't think anybody should be starting Devonta Freeman at their flex. That's just
over Brandon Cooks, who had 21 points, and
he's been having a good 2-3 weeks too.
Really, ever since, you know why? Because we got into his head that one week.
Yeah,
he said, we were like, why did you even start Brandon Cooks? Since then, he had a goose egg. Since then, he had 53 points in 2 weeks. And now he plays Green Bay, which is not going to be good for him. But also, Julian's team went out. Quote unquote, Kyler Murray is a league winner, ladies and gentlemen. So, and he has Chase Claypool, which got off the waivers. His team is looking kind of better now.
Yeah.
But we'll see in the power rankings to see where he ranks.
Glizzy Gladiators versus a whole lot of fantasy. Powerhouse matchup here, 146.8, 135. A little bit short, despite Derrick Henry having 40 points for him. His rest of his team, Madison, 4 points. This was really ultimate stash too. He was waiting to play.
He really got fucked. Tampa Bay and Young Hoku, 45 points.
That's kind of crazy.
That won him the game. Imagine they got regular 10 points each, bro. He would have lost.
High game too. Fucking
Eddie. Tampa Bay is the best defense, right? And Young Hoku is just the GOAT, I guess, against Minnesota. That was oh wait, yeah.
Your win, Sonny put up sub 80. Not really something you want to see. out of a team that was ranked by you number 1, putting up sub 80.
I have no comment about that at this time.
Not really much to say. Sonny's last place in the league at 1-5, I think it is.
Traded away, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll talk about that later for some reason.
I lost 114.2, 109.7.
Heartbreaking loss.
Yeah, Zeke
To Ed's team.
twice for the first time ever in his football career. Not really much. I really don't want to talk about that game. It was really just turned me off from fantasy in general. But we'll get back into my team later. But let's go with our power rankings. Starting off at number 9, I have Sonny, last place in the league, 1-5. I don't think he's actually. Is he last in? I don't think he's last in points for. Oh, never mind. He is. He is last in points for. So, yeah, just kind of cleared last place in the power rankings for me. Who do you have at 9?
Yeah, I have Sonny at number 9. The reason why I thought his team would be good at the number 1 position about 3 weeks ago is because I thought his team would just come back. He had, at one point, he would have had Patrick Mahomes, Todd Gurley, Leonard Fournette, Michael Thomas, DK, and Devontae Adams, and Tanyan, who was doing good, 7th ranked tight end. But I just don't understand what is happening with this team. I mean, he's starting Boston Scott this week, and yeah, so his team fell off. And on top of that, Zach Ertz is really just, I don't even know, a bust of this year. He got hurt. He's fragile. The Eagles suck. It's just not good to see. Sonny's last, which is hard. It's actually crazy because a couple weeks ago, Julian was by far the worst. But now he's like ahead of him.
Number 8 for me, I have Kenny. Kenny started off 2-1 and is now 2-4. He's on a 3-game losing streak. Again, just something that's bound to happen when you don't pay attention to your team. Not really much I have other to say about that. He lost Dalvin Cook and had to replace Dalvin Cook with Devonta Freeman just because he did not really care about the depth of his team.
Yeah, just to look at, I mean, I don't have Kenny at the same spot too. I would. Oh,
You do or you don't?
Joe's calling me. Anyway, but Kenny is below Julian because first of all, Julian beat him last week, and second of all, he has Devontae Freeman starting, and Juju has really taken a back seat to Chase Claypool. If you fucking really look at it, he's too busy making TikToks now, so he's ranked 38th out of all the wide receivers. The past 2 weeks has had 9 points against Philly and Cleveland. So I don't know how it's gonna go again a few weeks when he has to face the Titans and the Ravens, and then eventually the Ravens again. I don't really see his team really going up. I don't know, but Kenny is pulls some magic all of a sudden. Like I see my team versus his team this week, and I see like I feel like I have a better chance this week, but who knows? He might put up 200 points somehow. So, and Mostert and Dalvin Cook are hurt for like a little bit, so that's not gonna help his team at all. So
Kenny was your number 8, right? Or no?
yeah.
Okay.
Sonny and then Kenny.
All right, my number 7. I have Julian. Regardless of Julian's record at 2-4, gotta put some respect on his name. He was looking for being the worst team the first couple weeks and bounced back. He's got Claypool now off the waiver. He made that's another trade. I forgot about that trade. We'll talk about that trade later too. But yeah, he made a trade and now his team, AJ Brown's back. His team's not looking bad. Also Austin Eckler is hurt for him, so definitely brighter days ahead for the Cardiac Kids at number 7.
Yeah, I mean, didn't he do this last year too? I feel like he was sucking and then somehow got into the championship.
Yeah.
But I do have Julian here too. Again, at one point was by far the worst. I remember Eddie's rankings had Julian like way down here, and then the rest of the league like a little bit up here. But now the gap is really closed in. His team has really gotten together. Partially, I mean, how did Kareem Hunt do? I mean, did he do good? Is he like keeping up with what Chubb would be making up or no?
I don't think he's doing as good as Chubb.
Let's see how he beat him. All right, so AJ Brown. Oh yeah, his team. He just had a freak week. I think Kenyon Drake, 30 points. AJ Brown, 22. Kareem Hunt only had 8 points. Scary Terry. I mean, yeah, and he had Josh Jacobs on bye and Austin Eckler, which probably would have helped him. I mean, being on a bye this week, because if he started him, who knows? He probably would have maybe put up the same amount as Kenny. But I have Kenny at that spot too. I mean, Julian.
Number 6, I have Simon. Simon's team Simon is 4-2. His team has been doing good, but the reason I have him ranked at number 6 is because his RB1, Mike Davis, will probably be seeing actually Mike Davis only had 11 points this week, but I just feel like once Christian McCaffrey comes back, he's got Chubb, so maybe by the time actually things kind of worked out perfectly for Simon, because as soon as Chubb got hurt, he had Davis. I feel like once Davis
is gone,
Chubb will be back, so things might actually work out for him.
Yeah, but maybe another thing we have to be looking at though is that Leonard Fournette is like not playing and Ronald Jones has just been fucking tearing it up. So, but who knows if Leonard Fournette comes back and Ronald Jones has to share, then that's just gonna go down. But he is gonna have Nick Chubb, but he's also gonna be injured. So, who knows? Plus the Browns are just fucking weird right now, and it's not gonna happen every week that Will Fuller has 26 points.
Yeah.
So, but he can have that too at the same time. So
it's just for me, Simon's backs are just kind of they've been playing well, but they're just question marks for me going forward.
At my number 6, I actually have Ed. I think his team is just not good. Out of all the teams that are ahead of him, I think his team is just the worst. He had so Clyde Edwards-Helaire had the best week of fantasy as the entire season, which is no surprise. I mean, the bell's coming now, so I feel like they like fed him a little bit more than he would. But let's see. So he has Jamison Crowder starting right now. Gronk had a really good week this week, like the best week, and Clyde Edwards-Helaire is gonna fall off, I think. So I think his team is just the worst out of everyone else's. I mean, it is a playoff spot, but he might. I mean, without counting us, but I just think that his team is the worst out of all the rest of the teams. But better. I mean, it's just like the middle of the road. I mean, his team, like in comparison to last week to this week, is like way better. He made a trade. Cooper Kupp is still around. We'll see how it works out in Kansas City. And on top of that, he has Justin Jackson starting too. Austin Eckler is out right now, but he's going to come back soon. So who knows? But yeah, that's why I have Ed at 6.
Number 5, I have Ed. I'm just gonna leave it at that because you really said everything I really was thinking about that team.
Number 5, I have Diego. I just don't know. I just don't understand how his at some point his team is just gonna fall off, and I'm just waiting for when it comes. It's coming soon. I don't see his running backs are just really strong, and Aaron Jones has been playing really good as he was like last year, second half. But at some point, I feel like it's just not going to be enough. Like his team is good, but it's not great. And I think some teams are just all around better and have more established people that will get some points. I don't like Jimmy Graham or Boyd. Robert Woods is obviously great, but I mean his receivers are just weak. Alvin Kamara and Aaron Jones are making up for it, but you got to think that there's going to be one week where they have to eventually slow down, and one of those weeks, it's just going to make him pay. I mean, he did play Kevin, and it was a neck and neck game, but I mean, like I said, Tampa Bay and Young Ho Koo are going to make up 45 points every single week.
No.
So that's why I have him.
Number 4, I have Nick. Even though Nick's team has been on the decline, I think he's actually. Let me fact check this first. 79, 13. Well, he was on the he was scoring less and less points each week, but then in week 5 he had a nice 162-point win. So that wasn't true. But his team just kind of, after those first 2 weeks, took it. I mean, I guess you're not going to score 180 points every week, so I guess it's not really fair to say that his team took a hit because they weren't scoring 180. But I think Nick's team down the road will do better now with this trade he made. But I definitely think he's a contender, though.
Who'd you say, Nick?
Yeah.
At my number 4, right, I have Simon, and it's literally like the next 2 people who I'm gonna say. Well, actually, the next 3 people, to be honest, I would say, I feel like are just not gonna like be able to keep up. Like you said, Simon's team. What'd you have Simon at? Like 7 or something?
6.
Um, his team is 4-2. Russell Wilson's gonna do his thing, but like I said, Ronald Jones and Mike Davis.
6 and 5, but whatever.
Ronald Jones and Mike Davis. Those are just temporary running backs that are doing good right now, and I don't think they're going to keep up. But Nick Chubb is going to come back eventually. He does have Chase Edmonds, which might actually be helpful in the future. Odell, Julio. I don't know. I feel like he's just missing that one piece that's making his team really good. But yeah, that's why I have Simon at 4. Right?
Yeah. Number 3, I have Kevin. Kevin's just lost Miles Sanders for this week.
Melvin Gordon practiced today, actually. Isn't that weird?
What do you mean? Why?
Because he had a DUI.
That was a couple weeks ago, though, I thought.
I thought it was last week, I think. But still, like, no suspension or anything. It's kind of weird. But he practiced today, so.
It could have, yeah, I don't know. But Kevin's got Josh Allen versus the Jets this week. He's got, Henry's playing the best run defense in the league, but it is Derrick Henry, so we'll see how that goes. But I like his team going forward. I think it's very well-rounded. Thielen's on bye this week. Sanders will be back soon. So I think Kevin C's pretty well-rounded, deserving of a number 3 spot.
I have you at number 3.
Interesting.
Honestly, not that far off from like where you are in the actual rankings, but I think the trade that we made your team more well-rounded than it was, except instead of like having this guy, which like you don't need this guy to win games because obviously he didn't win you the game last week, which is we'll talk about that later. But I feel like your team really put you ahead of like the teams that are just like iffy, like Diego's team or Simon's team. Like, you know, like they don't have like those like like Allen Robinson, Tyreek Hill. Like I like them a lot.
It's good on paper, but they just gotta come to play. I feel like I got a lot of playmakers, but
They do. A lot of them are playmakers. That's all you need. But yeah, that's why I haven't. That's why I've used 3, and I have someone. All right, that's it.
Number 2, I have Diego, just because I just respect Diego's backs. I so much. Kamara, actually, him and Kamara's number 1, and Jones number 4. I think Robert Woods is pretty solid. Who's Diego's quarter? Oh yeah, he's got Lamar too. So, going forward, it really just matters about his wide receivers.
Yeah, that's what it's iffy. I mean, it's still a playoff team regardless, but I just don't know. It just takes one Kamara or Aaron Jones to just not do good, and then boom, it's fucking shit. But at number 2, I have Kevin, and I like Kevin's team. I mean, his team and Diego's team, I feel like are just like so similar to me. They just do good, but I don't trust it. Like they're good, but like I just don't trust the team. Like Miles Sanders, you like remember the pass that Miles Sanders dropped? Did you see that in the end zone?
Yeah.
He doesn't even have him. Adam Thielen's on bye. Madison's on bye. The bench is just sus to me, honestly. Hunter Henry, Kelly, and Carlson as a bench kicker. But anyway, but like Robbie Anderson, ranked number 6, Diggs ranked number 4, and Kenny Galladay is I think has been like absent, but he's had a good receivers. The Panthers are really surprisingly really good this year. Um, they have been playing good teams too: Raiders, Tampa Bay, Chargers, Arizona, and they've been doing good. I guess it's just a Gase effect that Robbie Anderson's gone now. Derrick Henry dropped 40 on Houston. He is going to face the Steelers though. Um, we'll see about how his team performs this week. Projected 139, which is actually pretty crazy to me. Darren Waller has been just being force fed the fuck out of like Derek Carr just like loves him, and he gets all the attention. But who knows if they follow the Patriots blueprint on Darren Waller, then they can hold him down to a 2.9 points, and that would be bad. And I don't think Darren Waller is good enough to do a double team like what the Patriots were doing. So that's why he's at number 2 for me.
My number 1 spot, I have you here. You're 5-1, best record in the league. What are you in points for? 3rd, 4th? Oh no, 5th?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm at 6.
So, I mean, going forward, you haven't had CMC though, so that's just you also got Bell now, who's on the Chiefs. So if he turns up with them, your team really looks pretty good. So, I mean, Kelsey's been great. CD, I mean, we'll see how CD does now. He didn't have a bad game at all, and Jefferson's been great. Ruggs is back. I think Raiders were on bye this week, right? Yeah, they were. And he had 118 yards off 2 catches last week and a touchdown.
Yeah. I mean, not gonna say too much about my team right now. We'll talk about it later. But number 1, my biggest person on this team that's just really far from the rest now is Nick's team, because he got Devontae Adams from Sonny for nothing pretty much, and now he has the best receiving core in the league, and his running backs are just they're good. Like I mean, like James Robinson has just been like incredible, dude. Like he's been getting like 15 points at least, averaging 17 points a game. Like that's fucking crazy. And Chris Carson has been doing his thing, 20 points a game. And that's really all you need. Like he doesn't have any big name backs like a fucking like Gurley, CMC, like Zeke or like Kamara or anything like that. But it's just like I don't know. I feel like his team projected 143 right now. But then again, you see weeks like from Nick like
projected 145 last week, and then
that's what I was gonna say. His last week, like I don't know, like that could happen. Like Hopkins under 10, Ridley under 10, like like that's crazy, but it could happen to him. If that happens to him, I don't know. But I feel like his players should be doing good. If they do bad, then they just shit the bed in general. But I think Nick has the best team. Not including myself.
Okay, so those are our power rankings. Moving on. We have a new segment this week called "Who is the Imposter?" So basically, just gonna go here and say out of the top 6 teams right now, who is either gonna lose first round or not going to be there come playoffs. I'll go first. I have either Simon or Eddie. Just Simon's team, I already explained. Ronald Jones has been doing great. Is a question mark in my book, though, just because I don't know what's going on with that Fournette situation. Mike Davis going to be gone soon. Apparently, Julio, there's rumors Julio might be traded.
And Odell, too.
Will Fuller's been playing good. But I don't know how long that's going to last. I don't think Odell's a good option. Baker's looked horrible. Matthew Berry says OBJ is no longer a must-start in fantasy, which I agree with. Russell Wilson's always going to be doing good. But yeah, he's got Chubb on the bench. Andrew's been looking a little sus.
Not doing like last year.
So yeah, him or Eddie. Just Eddie's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, Eddie's got the 6th spot right now. But his team, in my opinion, is a little weak. But yeah. So who do you have?
So in that case of those two teams, I really don't like from my perspective, I really don't see them as imposters because I never really even saw them as like competition to begin with. The two teams that I choose are ranked a little bit higher on both of our lists and in the actual rankings on ESPN. Kevin and Diego's team, I think, are imposters, and I don't think have enough to win. Diego's team, I like I said, Tyler Boyd, the Pitman, right? And Robert Woods. If they have bad and look, and Antonio Gibson, he's starting Antonio Gibson. He had 22 against Baltimore, which is pretty good. But who knows if he can keep up? I mean, I don't know, how much faith would you have putting out Robert Woods and Tyler Boyd every week? And
Yeah.
in comparison to let's just say in comparison to yours, would you be safer Keenan Allen, Allen Robinson, Tyreek Hill, or
Yeah.
would you rather have your Robert Woods or Tyler Boyd? But I mean, he does have good running backs. But I mean, if they miss out on a touchdown or if they both miss out on touchdowns, and you're just gonna see bad weeks out of your players. And the same thing goes for Kevin. I mean, Derrick Henry dropped 40 and he had 135. You know what I mean? I don't feel good about Kenny Galladay. Stephon Diggs is good, but like you said, Josh Allen is their fucking running back too, and they just don't blow out teams like that. Like they played Kansas City, or you know what I mean? Robbie Anderson. I don't have faith in those players. If they had strong wide receivers, they would be contenders. I think they're just imposters right now due to their wide receivers. But I mean, Kevin less so than Diego because he has Adam Thielen. But who knows? I actually saw Matthew Berry talk about Justin Jefferson might outscore Thielen this year. Adam Thielen's at 3,
Yeah.
and Justin Jefferson's at 7. So who knows? But those are my two imposters.
And that was our segment. Moving on, we had 3 trades happen this week. One was between me and Castro. One was between Nick and Sonny. And one was between Eddie and Julian. I'm going to talk about mine first. Castro says this a lot because it's true. People love talking after the fact. Happens a lot. I mean, anytime there is a trade, there's gonna be a winner and loser. There's gonna be reactions in the chat. But let me just go through, and for everybody that was confused on how this trade could have possibly happened, let me tell you how this trade went down. So I made it known Zeke was on the block. First of all, let me not even get to that first. Let me tell you what this game did to my mental state. Okay, here I was sitting at 2-3, right? In a game I was supposed to win by a fucking blowout. Okay. And my team goes out there. Kittle does great. Fucking Big Ben shit the bed, but it's Big Ben, so it's whatever. Gaskin did fine. Devin Singletary sucks. He's gonna be on my bench the rest of the year. I know he's ass. Who else did good? My Tyreek fucking 5 points, but what can you do? The Chiefs ran for 250 yards. The Bills could not stop it. It was raining out. Miami defense did fine. Swift had 30 points on my bench, but he had 5 carries as his most usage all year. So, but this is a game I should have won. I should be 3-3 now in front of Eddie, but now I'm 2-4 behind Eddie and behind in points for. So that is just so sickening of a loss for me when my RB1, number 2 ranked back in fantasy, 4th overall pick, goes out there, fumbles twice, and I lose by the negative points I received for those fumbles. You know what that does to a person? I didn't want him on my team anymore. And I made it known I didn't want him on my team anymore. And let me go through the list of people who were in contact for this trade. Diego said he did not want to trade for Zeke. He was not interested. Okay. Another one who had something to say after the fact. Nick said negative. I don't want Zeke. Eddie said he doesn't want Zeke. Sonny said he does not want Zeke. Kenny, Kenny doesn't answer his trades, so I didn't even bother reaching out to him. Julian never reached out to me, and then goes on to say, "Oh, I would have paid way more for Zeke. Then why didn't you offer for him?" That makes sense. Like, am I crazy or like?
I don't know. I don't know. People just don't know. Like, I don't know.
Only person I needed a running back in return. Kevin reached out to me. So Kevin can say what he wants. I'm giving Kevin a pass here because Kevin did reach out to me, but trade was not going to work between us because he only had Henry to give up, and he did not want to give up his running back, which I understand. So it wasn't going to work between us. Everybody else said Zeke sucks. I don't want Zeke. Did you see what Zeke did? Then Zeke gets traded, and all of a sudden it's, why would you trade Zeke?
Overreaction is real.
Overreaction. Everybody just told me he sucked. Did I want to give up James Conner? Did I want to get James Conner and Keenan only in return for Zeke? Of course not. But when I go around the league and I see his price is where it's at, and I want him off my team, what else is there to do when nobody wants him? Literally nobody else besides Kevin wanted him. So why after Zeke gets traded am I hearing all these heads saying, how did Zeke go for this? How did I not get Zeke? Well, nobody wanted him. So it was just surprising for me to see this reaction when every person that I reached out for a trade told me how bad Zeke was and how they didn't want him. But now all of a sudden, Zeke should have never been traded. So that's how this trade went down. I did not just go to Castro and give him Zeke. I checked Zeke's price around the league. This was Zeke's price. Nobody else wanted Zeke. And so Castro got him. And I think my team is better off now with that trade. I think I have more depth. Well, not depth. I have a better starting lineup now. I don't have to put Devin Singletary out there anymore because he sucks. And I got a better overall team in return. And that's just how it went. Nobody wanted him until after he was traded. That's all I could say. That's really all I could say.
From my perspective, I really don't know. Because when I was doing this trade, I was trying to be fair because I wanted Zeke because I would have Zeke, CMC, and Le'Veon. My rookie wide receivers is good enough for me, honestly. I don't really need Keenan on my team, even though he's been doing good. And I don't need James Conner because I drafted James Conner at like a fucking value price that no one else is even coming close to getting. And James Conner is going to be one of the best running backs. 2 years ago and last year he was seen as like a first rounder. I don't know what the fuck happened. People just thought that Benny Snell was going to take over. And now I was looking for a trade. I was trying to get the same exact thing that I just traded to Sonny. Sonny texted me, "Do you want Devontae?" I said, "Yes, I want Devontae. Give me Devontae, please." I would have Aaron Rodgers and Devontae on my team. So I wanted him. What does he do? He goes to Nick and trades him who?
All right, let's talk about this trade now. Let's move on to this trade. So Nick gave up TJ Hawkinson, irrelevant, and then Jonathan Taylor and Chris Godwin, who's been hurt and not having a season like he had last year. And Sonny gave up Laviska Shenault, kicker Jason Sanders, and Devontae Adams.
So let me get this straight. This man turned down James Conner and Keenan Allen, but instead just got Chris Godwin for Devontae Adams, which I don't get. At 1-5, he has Todd Gurley and is starting Boston Scott on his team. Like, what? You can have Todd Gurley and James Conner and Michael Thomas and DK Metcalf and Keenan Allen on your team. But no, you just want Chris Godwin and you just take the hit on Boston Scott? Doesn't make any sense. So now he gave Nick a team that is probably, that's why I put him at number one. He has fucking all these great players now. But I mean, it just doesn't make sense. I was just trying to give away players, but no one wanted them. So if I hit on Le'Veon, then I'm gonna be happy as fuck. Because I just need CMC to come back, and that's it. And then he might not even come back this week. He's gonna come back next week because they're not trying to rush him back because Mike Davis is doing his thing.
Yeah. And then that trade, really, I just feel like it's not so much what he got, more so what he could have got. I just don't understand how he got Godwin instead of Ridley, or who's Nick's other wide receiver?
Hopkins? No.
Yeah. I don't understand how Ridley, Hopkins, and Godwin are on that team, and Sonny gives up Devontae Adams and somehow doesn't get Hopkins or Ridley in return. That just doesn't make sense to me.
And then he goes to me, I couldn't give Devontae to you. Your team would be too OP. Like, let's just say if you traded with him, like, you would have even gave him a better deal than what he got right now. Zeke and Jarvis for Devontae Adams.
All I know is, I guess Sonny reached out to the people that he saw he wanted players for. But I feel like there definitely wasn't a price check that went league wide in that one. Couldn't get Hopkins and Godwin in return. Again, in my situation, I price checked. No, and yes, I know Zeke had the worst game of the year, so his stock wasn't going to be as high. But I needed him gone. I went around. 7 owners told me they want no part of Zeke. Simon and Kevin were interested, but they did not have a running back they wanted to give up. So that's how Castro ended up getting Zeke.
Also, Zeke would have had 16 points, first of all, against Arizona, which is a top 5 defense in the league right now. So I don't really understand with his banged up offensive line. Like the things that they were saying, Andy Dalton is not Dak. Offensive line is banged up. They played a top five defense, and he still would have put up 16 if he didn't fumble. And he didn't. And he even hit the end zone. He didn't even go to the end zone once.
He would have put more than 16 because I don't know. Did you watch that game through?
I mean, not the second half after I left.
He got benched for like 2 or 3 drives after those 2 fumbles.
So yeah, so I mean,
16 points.
It's also dubbed his team now. Like everyone's giving him like the praise now. Dak is gone. It's now Zeke's team. So I don't really get it.
I would have loved to get more value out of the number 2 back in fantasy, but it just comes down to the fact that literally nobody wanted him. Nobody wanted him. So that's just how that trade happened. Going on to this third trade, though. What was the trade? Let me pull it up real quick.
Julian and Ed.
We have Eddie traded Kenyon Drake, Washington defense, and Noah Fant for Justin Jackson, Mike Gesicki, and Jamison Crowder. Kenyon Drake was Eddie's first or second round pick, right? Because he took Hilaire in the first. I don't see this. I don't think anybody really won in this trade. I mean, Julian basically got a back that was taken in the second round for chump change, so I guess you could say he won that trade. But yeah.
I mean, yeah. He technically he basically just like got a better pick. I mean, like because Austin Eckler, right? He traded away Justin Jackson, who is practically Austin Eckler right now until he comes back. And wait, is Austin even coming back?
Who?
Austin Eckler.
Yeah, I think he's supposed to be coming back at some point.
So now he has Kenyon Drake, who just of course has the best game of like this year. Remember when you were saying I'm the face you make when I win you your league or whatever, like him. And of course he had like the Kyler stack, which they just fucking killed the fucking Cowboys. The Cowboys defense is completely horseshit. So yeah. Who knows? I mean, I guess Julian did win.
Thing about our trade, why I feel like it works out. I wanted to get rid of Zeke, obviously, because Dak's gone, O-line's banged up, defense is trash. You could afford to take that on, though, with the upside of Zeke being a beast, because your team has just so much depth. I can't really afford that, having me throwing out Devin Singletary at my flex position. I can't afford that. I can't afford to rely on that, especially sitting at 2 and 4. So that's just why I feel like this trade worked out between us.
Yeah.
Do I think I won the trade? I don't think I won the trade, but I did not want Zeke. I did not want Zeke on my team anymore. It was an eyesore looking at on my lineup after that, and I didn't want to look at it anymore. And nobody wanted him, so Castro won the sweepstakes. That's really all I could say. If I end up losing bad in this trade, if Zeke goes off for the rest of the year, I wouldn't even be mad. That's how much I did not want Zeke. And I'm being 100% honest with that.
I mean, I think it was fair because I think you needed help at wide receiver too, and I give you a good one.
Only way I'd be upset about this trade is if Connor and Keenan went down and were like out for the season this year. Then I'd be like, okay, that's just fucked. But other than that, I mean,
I pushed through now.
I could really care less what happens with Zeke for the rest of the season. But we are at 40 minutes here, so let's move on to the next and last segment. We have our pick'ems. We'll try to go through this quick, so this isn't too long a podcast. First game we could talk about Sonny versus Simon. I have Sonny winning this one actually. I have this as my upset of the week. Simon's a 4-2 team. Sonny's 1-5, last in the league. Michael Thomas back. Even though Boston Scott kind of a meme to have at your RB2, could be some upside with so many players out. Miles Sanders out, Ertz out, Alshon out. So Boston Scott could find some screens, some dump offs, and maybe a touchdown.
It is against the Giants, I guess.
And it's against the Giants, so not a horrible play. DK against Arizona. I don't think Patrick Peterson's good anymore, so if he's on them all game, then I don't think there'll really be anyone stopping him. But what do you think about this game?
When Simon versus Sonny, I actually might change this to my game of the week, to be honest. I think this is going to be really close. Sonny's team should be performing about how I was guessing them up 3 weeks ago with DK and Michael Thomas back. But it still says Michael Thomas is still questionable. I don't know how the chemistry is going to be after Michael Thomas apparently did. What did he do again?
He punched
Malcolm Jenkins?
Malcolm Jenkins, I think.
And he's apparently called Slant Boy now, so we'll see how that works out. It is going to be Carolina versus New Orleans, so I guess we'll see how Mike Davis and Michael Thomas do. But I actually did have Simon winning this game, but after a second look, I don't even know who's going to start at tight end. First of all, he doesn't even have a tight end right now. Mark Andrews is on bye right now. So, and Odell is facing Cincinnati. We were just talking about that in the chat. About how Cincinnati might actually win this game outright. So I think this might actually be upset and game of the week for me, for Sonny. Even though I have another game that's also an upset, but I guess I'll talk about that when it comes to him. But I have Sonny winning too.
Next game we have Yerba Mate versus Mike. I have Castro winning this one. Just because Kenny's team, again, he's starting Devonta Freeman again. Indy has a bye. He doesn't even have a backup defense. So Ebron, again, has not been playing well. It looks like he's throwing again. Tyler Lockett versus Arizona could go either which way. But I have Castro winning this one. I think this – oh, no, this isn't my lock. I have a different one for lock.
I have myself winning too, but I'm scared because – Kenny, every time I played Kenny, killed me.
Yes, there is that chance Kenny's enchanted, but just looking at his roster right now,
you don't see it, right?
He doesn't even have a defense on his roster because Indy's on a bye. So,
and I mean, Joe Mixon is facing Cleveland, so who knows? I hope I win. I mean, I'll go 6-1, and then Christian McCaffrey will come back, but who knows? I've liked my team this week against Kenny. That's it.
Next game, we got a whole lot of fantasy versus cardiac kids. It's actually my game of the week. And I have Julian winning this one. I just feel like Julian's team's got a lot of upside this week. You got Kyler Murray versus Seattle. Seattle's pass defense, trash. Josh Jacobs versus Tampa Bay. I feel like Jacobs is always a hit or miss. Hunt versus Cincy. He should have a good game. A.J. Brown's been doing well. Claypool's been doing well. Noah Fant, I guess we'll see what he'll do. But the thing about Julian's team is that if the Cardinals do well, he could definitely put up some points. As you saw, I mean, Murray and Drake combined for almost 60 last week. So
I also have Julian winning this game. This was gonna be my upset, but the Sonny versus who is it again? Sonny versus Simon. I feel like is a bigger one in my opinion. So yeah, because he's last. But yeah, I feel like Julian's gonna win this game. I just don't like I said about Diego's team over, but he has. Oh yeah, I think that since last week you saw how Aaron Rodgers got embarrassed against Tampa Bay. I feel like he's about to air shit out this week, and I feel like Aaron Jones is not going to be a part of that. You know, I think he's just gonna like have like a fucking stupid ass fucking game against Houston. But I mean, then again, if they don't air shit out and they get to the 1 yard line and Aaron Jones is there, he's gonna get a touchdown. So. But yeah, I do like his team this week. I mean, they do have AJ. He has AJ Brown and Claypool against each other, and he has Noah Fant. His team really is like back up on its like feet, and I feel like he can beat Dio's team, unless Tampa Bay and Yoho go for 45 points again, then he'll lose.
Then we have me versus Nick. I'm just gonna say I'm hoping for a win. Not gonna talk about my team for this.
You can win this game. Actually, I'm gonna change it again. I think this is the game of the week, to be honest. I don't know, dude. There's so before we even start recording, I said that every game was gonna be really good. I feel like this week. But I mean, you have a chance because I feel like his running backs might not perform as well as they're supposed to, and if one of their wide receivers doesn't do as well, then it might be over. But you know, what I mean, I don't know. I still do have Nick winning just because Hopkins is going to face a Seahawks D secondary, and Calvin Ridley is going to go against Detroit, and Devontae Adams against Houston is just really good. I mean, those three right there can just go for like 75 points. But I mean, hope for the best if I were you. But I mean, I think you can still win that game of the week.
Last time Burrow played Cleveland, he threw 62 times, so hopefully he can do that again.
How would that benefit?
Because I got Burrow starting.
Oh yeah, Burrow. I didn't see Burrow on that. Burrow's actually a top 15 quarterback right now.
Yeah, because usually all that he's thrown for 300 yards 4 times this year. And the only time he hasn't was his first game, and then when they played Baltimore, and Baltimore has a top 5 defense. So, and then that Jacksonville game too, when he didn't score. His 2 bad games, I would say Jacksonville and Baltimore. Baltimore was obviously a tough matchup with that defense, but Jacksonville, I remember that was the game Joe Mixon had 4 points.
When Kenny played you?
Yes, that week was the Joe Mixon show. But moving on to our last game, we have Glizzy Gladiators or Glizzy Gladiator versus Suck My Dicka. I have this as my lock of the week with Kevin winning.
Just pun.
What happened?
Pun. Kevin winning.
Okay. Just because, I mean, unless Hilaire has another 160-yard game,
cap.
I don't think a Gronk 20-point performance is coming again.
That's also cap.
Well, depends what Buffalo. I mean, if you're Buffalo, like you gotta just literally play Jameson Crowder, like because that's the only person who gets the ball on that team. But he plays in the slot, so it's kind of easy for him to get a lot of those short passes. He had like 8 catches for like fucking 7 catches for 48 yards last week.
Yeah, I think it's a bounce back for Kevin Locke. I mean, this player. I mean, he just has a better team than Ed. Like Ed's team is just fucking crumbled to pieces. I mean, like Le'Veon's going to the Chiefs. Clyde Edwards-Helaire is not getting fucking 160 yards again, bro. It's just not gonna happen. And plus, who knows? They weren't even airing it out to Tyreek, right?
Yeah.
They were like, I don't know. They were focused on.
The Bills could not stop the run at all. It was crazy.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess
like literally 7 yards clip.
So yeah, that's my luck, Kevy.
Yeah, so that's everything for this week's episode. hope for a nice, healthy week 7 of fantasy. Hopefully nobody gets hurt. Good luck to everyone, and we will be back next week with another episode, hopefully with a guest. You'd think with how much the podcast is requested for each week that people would want a guest on it. We didn't have a guest this week just because I knew we had some new segments to talk about. But whenever we ask for a guest, nobody really ever wants to do it besides Eddie. So hopefully next week we'd have a new guest. But yeah, that's it for this week.
See you guys later. Hopefully you have a good week. No one gets COVID. Actually, there hasn't been any Corona shit, right?
I don't think so.
Not yet, anyway. Fucking players have been getting Corona before the day before the game and shit. Like,
yeah, they usually get it. It's like Thursday, Friday when it comes up.
Who plays tomorrow?
Eagles, Giants.
Oh wow! Fucking really good game, guys. Can't wait to see fucking Boston Scott, yay, and Devontae Freeman.
Really, that's the running back matchup
versus Carson Wentz and Daniel Jones. And who's playing receiver? Who's playing receiver for a team?
Sean Jackson.
Darius Slayton is the best receiver in that game. How do you guys feel?
That's sad. All right, guys.